What's up, everybody? Welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I am so blessed and honored to be here today with one of my favorite people to go and find with a glass of wine at a conference or something, whether it be DRC in our backyard here in Michigan or at Worldwide ERC or something. I've got Meredith Kennedy, Vice President, Global Account Management at Dwellworks, here with us today. Super excited to hear from her, hear all about, what they're doing over there, understand what Dwellworks even is and all the transformation that they're going through right now, and just hear what she's hearing from her clients, but also understand from a personal standpoint, what she's going through and hear her perspectives as a business person and as a homeschooling, work from home, school from home kind of, duality that we're living in right now. So we're going to hear from her. So I'm really excited about this. We got a bunch of people on Facebook already. If you're on the book right now, go ahead and hit that like, hit that heart, show some love to Meredith there, maybe tag somebody, make sure Bob Rosing's on this thing. It's going to get live. Anyway, Meredith's backstage here. Before we get into it, go ahead and leave in the comments there. Let's see, questions and whatnot. We're going to go ahead also and plug the t-shirts. We got Love and Relo t-shirts. 100% of the proceeds for these t-shirts goes to Move for Hunger. Right now, it is Hunger Action Month. Below the bottom right there is, where's my fingers? Can I get them both on the screen? That's technique right there. But along the bottom right there, tinyurl.com/Love and Relo t-shirt. Again, tinyurl.com/Love and Relo t-shirt is the website. It's a GoFundMe page. $35 donation or more will get you this gorgeous Love and Relo t-shirt. The picture does not do it justice, people. Promise you that. It is flashy. It is bling blanging and is ready for fall. Anyway, let's go ahead and without further ado, let's go ahead and bring out our guest today, Meredith Kennedy. Meredith, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Ben?
I'm so well right now, and I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks. It's a thrill to be here. The only thing that's disappointing about it is I feel like being on Love and Relo is the pinnacle of my career. Does that mean it's like downhill?
Downhill from here. There you go.
Darn it. I thought I still had some climbing to do.
The good news is this is your opportunity to ask Bob for that raise that you've always deserved. I mean, this is the moment right now. We're going to send him a link right now and be like, Bob, come on, step up.
Yeah, it's always good in the middle of a global pandemic when you're in the relocation industry to be asking for raises.
That's right.
That's good.
That shows chutzpah right there.
Yeah,
though,
you know my style for sure.
This is great. We got people checking in right now. Oh gosh, this is gonna be a fun show. I can tell already. We got people checking in here on LinkedIn. We got Tim Quirk. Hello, all from cloudy Western New York. Meredith, speaking of cloudy, where are you right now?
I'm in my home in Michigan. Cloudy Michigan today.
We're like so close. This is like one of those things. Like I wish we could be doing this in person right now.
Right, I can almost reach you. Right, it's like
yeah.
That's
I don't know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. Oh wow, that's cool. I like that. What's up, Tim? Hey, Simon John's coming to us from the UK right now. Fantastic, everybody. If you're checking in right now, go ahead and leave a comment, leave a shout out. Also, love to take any questions you have for Meredith as well. Tom Trainer. Hello from East New York, formerly flash flooding this morning, Long Island, New York. All right, cool. Geez, stay safe there, Tom. Suzanne, Benjamin, hi. Ben and Mare from Cleveland.
That's Susie B.
Susie B, the place to be.
You do that better than I do.
I do. That's the New York in me. Henry Dusaswala, hi from Bordeaux, good people. Henry, if you keep checking in like this, you're going to have to send me some wine. But just pack it right. Last guy didn't pack it right. Jamie Master, hi, Ben and Meredith. Cheers from sunny and hot Mississippi.
Nice.
What's up, Jamie? Good to see you. D Block, hello to you both from Chicagoland.
Hi,
I
D.
love it. Hey, D. There's a rap song back in the day about D Block. I love that name. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you probably can't repeat those lyrics.
But it's D Block, mighty D Block. This is the hook. Anyway,
yeah, it was like a challenge. It was like,
yeah. You want me to go in right now? Let me look the words up and I'll just karaoke. Farrah, great to see you both. This is great. Molly, hello, Meredith and Ben from Jacksonville.
Your new biggest fan, I think, Ben.
Molly is amazing. I got to know
Molly.
This platform is so cool with the community right now because there's so many people that I haven't met in real life, but I've formed such a real connection with. Molly's one of those people. Sandra Clary, Jamin Massler, just people that are checking in left and right over here, Simon Johns. I mean, all these people. And it's Rory, I see you down there. What's up? It's so wild. And we're going to jump off here on this point for just a moment here. Like, what is different right now in your world? Let's go there for one moment. Let's just like start there. What is different right now in your world within the constraints of this pandemic?
Well, what isn't different really, but I think I want to hit first on the point that I think you're kind of making is this connectivity that is just unique and different. And if we pause to think about the power of it, it's really incredible that I feel like there's a purposefulness behind making these connections. You want to be with people, you want to be with good people who have smart ideas and who inspire you. And so there's like a need to reach out, but I'm reaching out to the people in my life who really matter, who mean something, who have something to say, who have something to share, and who can help me in this craziness. So I mean that on a personal level and on a work level. I mean, I think
has your life, I mean, is there things that we're doing right now that we're going to carry forward from this? I mean, what are some of those things that you've seen, even just one thing maybe that we're doing now that we're going to be doing for a long time, you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that's kind of a hard question to put you on the spot with.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting to think about though, because I hope there are some things. I mean, again, if I think about that from a work context, I love the fact that we're kind of all made equal in this space, that there's no corner office, there's no, front of the desk, whatever I'm trying to say.
Right. No, I know what you mean though. There is that pride of place in a normal office, right?
Correct.
Who's got an office? Who's got a cube? Who's got the corner? Who's got the view, right?
Yeah. So
who's got the parking spot?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, the Zoom meetings that we're all getting a little bit sick of, but there's also, if you're doing them right, there's a really nice way to hear from voices that you don't necessarily always hear from, that you don't always tune into and listen to. So that sense of kind of equality and sharing of ideas, I think is really, really important. And I hope people are understanding the value that they're getting from that and continue that practice, that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, you talked about Zoom, and I mean, here we're doing this show right now too, and in the way that the content and information is being delivered is changing, and you handle global account management, and you obviously interface. You're in a very client facing role, and so how has that changed the way that you and Dwellworks are delivering information?
Yeah, that's a good question also. I think Dwellworks generally really likes to be in touch, in person. We want to have that connection with people, and you can do that when you're in their space, working with them, collaborating together around a table. And so that's all gone. So I think in some ways it makes you be more efficient. You get to, you have a product to share, you have an offering that's worth their time. Because it's not just kind of a coming together. It has to be more of a presentation. On the other hand, let's make sure we're not just always talking, right? There still has to be that listening part and that time where you're getting to know somebody on a more personal level.
I agree with that, and I want to say something about that, right? Because I think that the way this is done, the devil's in the details with virtualism, and delivering content like this, because one of the things that we try to do here on the show is we always try to incorporate people's feedback. I mean, people make comments. It could be what's up. It could be a comment. It could be some ridiculousness. But we try to I try to make sure everybody gets their time and their voice heard, and we read it and we can respond to it and everything. Yeah. I think that is a big departure from where we were just a year ago or 6 months, a year ago, where it would be webinars where you would just talk at people. And it would be like us two talking about, slide, right. And just talking at people. And then what happens in minute 50, they're like, does anybody have any questions? Really? Nobody has any questions? It's like, no, you haven't been listening to us the entire 15 minutes. You think I'm in the room right now? I'm like, I'm in the bathroom. I'm getting a cup of coffee. I'm not even here right now. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Do you see that? I mean, what are your thoughts on that kind of a balance? I mean,
yeah, no, that's absolutely true. I mean, I think first of all, you have to have the right people in the room. for that presentation, for that discussion. And then, yeah, we're thinking about who the audience is, and you're thinking about what you want to actually get done, get accomplished. And our internal meetings too, we talk about like Fab Five, and we can't have 30 dwell workers on every call. We want people's engagement. We want their ideas and thoughts, but let's have a meeting and then assign tasks and have side meetings to get these things done. So that when I am invited to a meeting, it's because I want to engage. I have something to say. I have something to learn. Then I
What is that Fab Five concept, though? I want to go back to that. What is you say Fab Five? What is that mean?
Sorry, that's not a U of M basketball reference.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait, Jawan Howard? Like, what are we talking about right now? Chris Webber?
Look at you. Yeah, so now you're going to put me on the spot with this. So it's a lean and agile concept where you have somebody who, you've got the stakeholder and you've got the leader and you've got the subject matter experts, and you don't need, you just need one of each of those kind of represented groups in order to accomplish what you need to accomplish. And then they can go divide the work amongst the next people. So let's not have,
unnecessary people in meetings. Correct. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Just because they have a title, they get invited, doesn't necessarily accomplish the right things.
Gosh, that's one thing my company does right, is we don't have too many meetings. That might be, I don't know. No, I'm kidding. But no, we do that very well. We don't have too many meetings. We might have too few meetings. I don't even know. Let's see. We got some bunch of people checking in right now. Go ahead, and I'd love to hear your questions for Meredith about everything from, what's life like right now to relocation stuff here. Let's see here. We got people checking in. Dwellworks agents in New Jersey, checking in from sunny Hawaii. Shirley in Connecticut. This says Lynn in New York. Everybody's got the weather. I love how everybody's doing the weather now. Annette in cloudy, cold Dallas. Rory has no idea what it's like outside. He's just working his tail off all day long. I do have a question though. We got people checking in. Jenna, what's up, Jenna? Hi, Ben and Mare. Look at that, former DRCer. Fernando Donadon from Brazil. Hot winter. We know nothing about that, do we, Meredith?
No, we do not.
More like it here. Hello from snowy Colorado. We got Nicole checking in. We got Sandra. Hi, Meredith and Ben from the DC Metro Enterprise Database. Yes, Meredith, how can it possibly get better? I have a question for you. So we had a Dwellworks agent checking in there. Dwellworks, great brand. Hear tons of great things. Love everybody I meet from Dwellworks. But what the hell does Dwellworks actually do? I got to know, because it's a little bit of a black box for me.
Okay, so first of all, I think my marketing team would have to argue that maybe that's not great branding if you don't know what we do. But it doesn't totally surprise me, and I do love that you love the people. So that's
I do. That everybody. I love you. I love Bob Rosing. I love Brian Keating. I'm running out of people's names, but I love everybody so far. 3 for 3.
Yeah. No, it is great people, and we do work. So generally speaking, I'll give the 2-second commercial, the elevator pitch, if you will, cool. That Dwellworks was formed in 2007 to be a supplier to the relocation management companies. So what are the kinds of things that relocation management companies would want to outsource? And Bob Rosing first acquired an appraisal company in Cleveland, Ohio. And then actually 13 years ago this week, he acquired the destination services company that I worked for in the Detroit area. And then he was new to that destination services space. Obviously, he had worked for an RMC, so he knew it from that perspective. But being in that business, he liked that business, and we continue to expand and have done a series of acquisitions since then. So really, we kind of let the RMCs drive where our next direction is, whether it's a new geography, we're now in 13 countries, or whether it's a new service line. So we built property management, a U.S. Kind of ubiquitous solution for property management across the United States that the RMCs could count on us for. We acquired an intercultural training company. Go ahead. It's
fascinating as I'm listening to you kind of like enumerate the different lines of business, right? And I always like to think like, how do the puzzle pieces fit together? And I'm kind of entrepreneurial too. And I'm like, okay, this is so fascinating because these are some of the more non-obvious aspects of relocation, in my opinion, but it also shows insight and strategic vision to say, I I listen to a lot of podcasts, and there was a guy that teaches at the NYU School of Business, right? He's like the best business school teacher in the country or whatever. And he's an entrepreneur, right? And he, many times over, and he always, and this isn't any commentary on Dwellworks, but he would always say, I always want to be in the businesses that when you think about it, it makes you want to throw up. Because you're like, I want to be in the dumpster business. I want to be in the business I want to be in the moving business. I want to be in the business that nobody knows what it is, right? And because everybody wants to go like, be in the record business, so they want to be in the movie business, so they want to be in the sexy business, right? And I think that it's really interesting that there's all these aspects of relocation where the relocation management companies really need service providers to fill these gaps. And I think it takes a lot of vision to understand what those real needs are, and a lot of like voice of the customer kind of work, I think, to understand what those are, and then to put it all together and to create this company that does all these things and fills all these gaps and these needs. And I think it's spectacular, and I think it's really impressive. My question for you, going through so much acquisition and the growth of this company and the building of this company, which is super impressive, as a person that's been through acquisitions, when I was at Pods, when I was at 1-800-PACK-RAT, we've been acquired, we've acquired, when we were owned by Waste Management, and we've acquired Mayflower Agents, we acquired ARPAN Agents, whatever. What is key in that to make it work, right? Because when you buy a business or when you are bought, the idea is that now you become more valuable, right? And how do you keep that value and enhance it?
Yeah. I think it's all about the whole is larger than the sum of the parts, right? So
yeah.
I think Bob always says, and I think it's really true, that when he's looking for a company to acquire, he's looking for, first of all, again, an opportunity so that we can bring success to that company, bring success to Dwellworks. So let's make sure the customers are actually asking for us to be there before we just go do something. It has to have a strategic fit. But then is there a cultural fit? And that's really, really, really key. And that's not to minimize the need for diversity and inclusion and all of those things. We want diverse thought process so that we can continue to stay ahead on innovation and all of that. But there's a common value set that I think runs deep at Dwellworks. And we actually even laugh about some of the first acquisitions was, again, the company I was working for, and then our two largest competitors in the US. So the three of us kind of came together as a large destination services company for Dwellworks in the US. And we went to put together our vision statement and our values, and we had the split, they were almost all the exact same. It's integrity, teamwork, performance, innovation, and fun. Mm-hmm. And as we've acquired these other companies globally, sometimes fun doesn't translate. In Germany, that's like not a word. They translate it as joy.
That explains so much right now that fun is not a word in German. I love it.
So we translate it as Freud, joy. I think I got that right. Probably the pronunciation was horrible, but in any case, the idea that they all kind of uniquely thought, yeah, fun is one of our values, and that's kind of unique. And it's like, oh no, it's actually one of ours too. Oh no, it's one of ours too. So this sense of being a place that's enjoyable to work, I think, is really important, because you immediately want to be a part of the crew, a part of what we're building. It's fun to be in a growth business as far as business life cycles go. So
yes,
that's been, I think, a part of the success and the energy that drives what we're able to accomplish.
It's always more fun to be growing than contracting. 100%. I mean, I think this is the perfect time, to be talking about that as well. We got so many people checking in. I'd love to hear. We got some great comments. We got some great questions coming up. Keep leaving them. We're going to make sure we get to them as well. Brian Rivers checking in from San Diego. Brian Keating, Cleveland, the old Cleveland side door there. Brian Keating himself. Love it. Also the champion of our Global Mobility Jeopardy game. Let's see here, Laura Gazian. What's up, Laura? Let's see, Lisa, Jack. What's up, Jack? Oh man, Jack Jampel. All right, Rory. I'm Ben's biggest fan. That's nice, Rory.
I think other people would claim that. I don't know.
I love these people. I tell you what, I do this, and the people are just amazing. The community is so amazing. Victoria, another friend. Hi, Ben and Meredith and Molly. Finally, cool here in the DF Dub. Victoria's another one. I've just created this, we just have this relationship now. Lindsay, hi, Ben and Meredith from Austin, ExecuStay. What's up? Hosea. Look at this. Suzanne. So many people checking in. You're a very popular person, Meredith. You know that?
I don't know.
Henri talking about some free wine. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. Free wine coming to me from Bordeaux.
Melanie.
Don't tell the IRS. All right. Cal Lynn from Montreal. Bonjour. Heather Jameson here in Detroit. What's up,
There you
Heather?
go.
This is great. Lisa Ross, Claire, hi from Ireland. Look at this. So well represented. Simon Johns coming in. Let's see here. Lisa coming in. Wow. Henry. All right. Henri, Molly. We got a lot of people talking. Gabby, great. Been on the show here post-COVID. Sounds like, look, they're planning a conference. This is fantastic. Conferences. Mary, what do you think about conferences? When are we going to get back and start hugging each other and talking over a glass of wine and all that good stuff?
Well, those are two different things. I think we might do the conference and the wine soon, and we'll do the hug.
We'll still be doing these numbers. Yeah.
Talk to me about this elbow thing, right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to cough into it, and then we're supposed to rub with it. What's that about?
I said the same thing. I'm like, when I'm coughing and touching the same place, I thought I was touching here because I'm coughing here. I'm touching here. I'm coughing here. But
there's no way to win.
We rolled these things out way too fast. Okay, we did not think about these things. I mean, oh gosh, this is so funny. Faye from Cooler Houston, this is great. Melanie checking in. This is wonderful here. What do you
figure out when we're going to meet again, though? I really can't.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I used to travel, I don't know, in any given month, I'd be gone 25 to 50% of the month. I haven't been anywhere since the first week in March. I was at the BAM conference. Hello, Bay Area. But I mean, you were asking earlier about how my life has changed. Like, I'm home all the time. That's a big way.
Is your family tired of you?
Ask my husband about that.
I was going to say, my wife is like, don't you have somewhere to be right now?
Yeah.
Like, can't you go see someone right now?
Yeah.
Victoria says, I worked with Dwellworks for property management for my customers. She was a Cardis with Pepsi. What's up, Victoria? Jamie, great people at Dwellworks. Congrats on the Oakwood deal and the announcement of corporate housing. So that's a great segue, actually.
I didn't even pay him to do that.
Yeah, but he will take it. Jamie, put your Venmo in the comments. But Mary, seriously though, tell us what's going on with that. I'm hearing about corporate housing and stuff. What's up?
Yeah, there's some real stuff going on, as you so eloquently said.
I don't write headlines, okay? I just do shows.
Yeah, no, we're really, really excited. September 1st, we have officially launched the Dwellworks Living brand. So that puts us full-fledged into the corporate housing space. And there were some rumors going around back in March, April, right while this was all kind of stirring up. And so just to kind of set all of that straight, Oakwood was exiting the solutions business and is focusing on the hospitality and property management business. And so we were able to strike a strategic agreement with them to really take over that business. So we've been using the Oakwood name. We had license for the name. We're using their Epic system. So we've got the platform and their entire global supply chain. And then we hired some of their best talent. So we're really, really excited. That's been going on in the background, kind of a seamless transition for their key clients. And then as of September 1, we pulled the lever and made it Dwellworks Living officially, which is a bigger process than you can imagine. And it's been really fascinating. I'm 21 years, if I want to be exact, into my career in this relo space.
Yeah.
Corporate housing makes a lot of sense for us in terms of the destination services side of things. It's adjacent, but it's very close. It fits this whole idea of continuous accommodation, that we can do the temp living, we can do the long-term rental, and then we do have real estate brokers too, so we can even get into that space for whatever your needs might be in the cycle. So I love that we're in this space, but it's so interesting to me that it is different than just pure global mobility. It's not just mobility, it's also corporate travel. It's not just the RMC model for us anymore. It's also direct clients. And then there's just the language about it that you don't even recognize that you've got your own lingo in, destination services world or RMC world. And so these meetings, we talk about these Zoom meetings. I've had so many Zoom meetings this summer because you have to connect all those parts and pieces. It's a really transaction heavy business, and you've got to get everything right in terms of accounting, in terms of IT, and everything, as you can imagine. And I feel like I'm like leaning into the camera, just trying to glean as much as I can possibly learn. I think of myself as a relatively smart person.
Yeah.
I just stuff is falling out of my brain because I can only capture so much. So
At least you admit it. I think a lot of us just pretend, right? We just pretend, oh yeah, oh yeah, just smile, smile and nod. No, but it does. It sounds like a lot. And it's funny you talk about the different languages, right? Because I have people on from all different kind of service verticals, right? And they do talk a different language. And they are very much in their temp housing kind of bubble, and they go to Chippa and they do their, thing, whatever, and they have their jargon, and then the RMCs kind of understand it all because they're kind of overarching, Yep. But I mean, household goods, oh my gosh, movers have told me, Ben, why are you talking about relocation so much? Well, let's just keep it to moving, okay? And I'm like, guys, you don't understand. Like, there's so much more out here. We're just one cog in the wheel. So it's interesting having to translate that, and now, kind of, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on, we talked about, on acquisitions and stuff, but how do you add a whole new service line to a company, right? You have a company and one day we do A, B, C, and the next day we do A, B, C, and D, and how do you make sure that D, is greater than the sum of the parts?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, the part that I think a lot of people don't actually know is we've been in this corporate housing space for about 6 years. We were a fulfillment partner to Oakwood and some other companies. So we were leveraging the footprint we have on the ground in terms of destination services consultants to actually find and build some bespoke solutions in countries like Germany, Ireland, Mexico, et cetera. So
what does that mean? Because that's like fascinating, but I don't really know what it means. Like,
well, wait, I'm supposed to know what it means? I thought I could just say
it. Bespoke solution. I feel like I got a bespoke solution on in my waistcoat right now, but I don't really know what that means from a temp housing, standpoint.
So yeah, that's the British in me, and I can't do it in a British accent. But yeah, so so really, it's just building very unique, personalized solutions that are going to fit that particular family and that particular company and that particular neighborhood. That's all
like for VIPs or
no, it wouldn't necessarily have to be. It's just the fact that for example, we do a lot of this in Germany, where maybe the model had been apart hotels, and we're saying we could actually take regular apartments and turn them into something. It doesn't have to be a hotel style living. We know landlords who have rented to us long-term before. Let's ask them if they would do some short-term rentals.
Sure.
We understand what's close to the bus line might be more important than being close to the office because you don't tend to drive. So the fact that we're local and we get kind of the lay of the land and what's going to fit the certain corporations in those places. There's times that we take unfurnished places and we furnish them so we can create this particular solution.
That's fascinating. And are you leveraging your DSP agents on the ground there to kind of be your boots on the ground and make that kind of stuff happen?
We are. Yeah, exactly. That's how we got into this in the first place. And that's what we think is going to be a really unique differentiator going forward.
Wow.
In fact, we did that in the US just this week, or last week, I guess it was, with the hurricane in Louisiana. We were trying to help a corporate housing customer who needed some assistance with people who had been displaced due to the hurricane. And there just weren't a lot of other corporate housing options within like 100-mile radius. But we were able to use one of our local destination service consultants to find some hotels. In this case, we went the opposite direction. Instead of apartments, we could find hotels, and she was local and on the ground and could vet those and make sure they met our needs in this situation. So
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. We've got some other questions here as well. Let's see, Francine checking in from the Lou. What's up, Francine? Brian, let's see here. Brian Rivers from First Tech Federal Credit Union out in San Diego. What's up, Brian? What are the biggest changes Dwellworks consultants will make post-COVID, and how will they keep the personal touch if more of a virtual presence is desired?
Yeah, I love that question. We actually launched a new product in July that we're calling Expedite. And it is all about the merging of the virtual and the personal. So we decided to take that whole core flex concept and take it down to the destination services level and leverage the data that we have in our system, that over 30,000 moves a year, so many years that we've been doing this. What do people really need? What services do they really leverage? Of course, the corporate client dictates to the RMC, who prescribes to us what we need to deliver. But what let's flip that on its head a little bit and let the employee tell us what they want us to deliver. And I think today more than ever, they don't necessarily want something. They don't need us to drive them from appointment to appointment. They don't need us to sit in line next to them. Some of them do, and they still have that choice. But what we're trying to do is actually deliver something that's digital first. Let's aggregate all this information that we have from our local consultants. Let's put it in front of you. Let's give you not just, a few tips. Let's not just email you something. Let's put a system at your fingertips so you can get at it and just in time. And then you really can just use your consultant for the real personal questions. Use them as a local lifeline. Help, use them when you need help discerning exactly what these guidelines mean, what this discussion mean, what this service scope means.
Yeah, and I think that's so interesting. And I think a lot of us are trying to transform our businesses very rapidly right now. And, I call it the voice of the customer, and you're talking about listening to your customers. But how does a company who's endeavoring to transform their business to become more customer centric and give people what they actually need, how do you actually get to that data? How do you actually get to that voice of the customer? What is your advice on that for people that are looking to make that transformation?
Yeah, well, I think it's hard to do it quickly. We actually started this process last August.
Okay.
And it kind of worked out for us that this momentum, it was like we thought virtual was going to be the new thing. And then virtual became a necessity.
Isn't that funny how luck favors the prepared, as you're working on this stuff. I was working on LOVE+RELO since December, and then COVID hits, and how'd you do that? I was I don't know, I was doing it anyway. It's like you're already doing this in August, and then things just change faster than you probably thought, right?
Yeah. It's a nice momentum to be going our way for sure. So I have to tell you sorry, I'm going to get off track for a second, but one of my favorite stories, my mom was a special education teacher. And one of the favorite stories that she used to tell is that this kid came to class and said, Mrs. Krug, the teachers are not fair. Every time I study for a test, they make it really easy. And every time I don't study for a test, they make it really, really hard.
Oh,
it's like, you poor child. But that's just stuck with me, right? You've got to prepare. You've got to get ahead of the curve, if you will. So yeah, back to your question. Sorry that I got off track.
I love that story though. I love that.
Right? It's good.
It's great.
Yeah. But anyway, so I do think that I think we all have data. I don't know that we're mining it appropriately. I think, and obviously Dwellworks is a large company, but small companies have small data. It's still data. You can still find trends. You can ask questions. If you aren't doing it yet, start now. I mean, really. Yeah. And don't just ask questions of your customer, ask questions of yourselves. Am I really doing what I think is right? Or am I doing what is easy? Am I doing what people want? Or am I doing what I've always done? I think that's sometimes difficult to break that barrier.
You are so right. Am I doing what is right? Or am I doing what is easy? I think that question should be at the heart of just about every decision we make in our life, whether it be business related or personal related, frankly. I love that. I absolutely, are you doing what is right? Are you doing what is easy? I think, also when you talk about data and you talk about small data, it's not popular to talk about paper right now, but I'll tell you what, if you're struggling with data and finding your customer's voice, just take a piece of paper, call them and write down what they say. Do that 10 times and you've got a small data set that I think will get you started.
I think you're right.
Because that's where we're at in the moving industry, right? To be 100% honest, we go out and we do these quality checks, we do QCs. I literally go out there with a clipboard, okay? And I'm writing this down. I'm not proud of this, but I'm telling you what I do. I go out there with a clipboard. I look at what I see. I answer some questions on this little questionnaire. I write down a little short form stuff, whatever. I come back, I stick it in a folder. At the end of the month, I read it all. And it gives me a pretty nice snapshot of how the heck we're doing.
Yeah. We don't do ourselves any favors when we overcomplicate things.
Yeah, tick sheets and questionnaires, go a long way. Now, can you really, it limits how much you can analyze it, but I think one person doing the hard work goes surprisingly far. So this is great. This is great. Great question, Brian. This is Mary or Madi, I'm not sure. Love this question. as a female VP, do you have any advice or insights into how females can break the glass ceiling? What factors do you attribute to your growth in your career?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would start with, I've had great bosses who just, and actually maybe I'd start before that. I'd start with my parents, who actually were both teachers, don't understand the business world, have no idea what I do on a daily basis, but instilled it in me, right? I mean, location, whatever. My degree was actually in organizational studies, like the way organizations function.
Mm-hmm.
My dad still makes jokes about how I organize sock drawers. Like, no, Dad, that's actually not what my degree was in. But
dads are the best, aren't they?
Right? They are. They are.
Bless their heart.
Shout out to my dad. He's not on this. No. Anyway, but they instilled in me a belief that I could do whatever I wanted to do. So I think I just work hard, and I don't think I ask. Like, you made a joke at the beginning, ask for that raise. Never asked for a raise. I've never asked for a promotion. I just show up and I roll up my sleeves, and I think that's been noticed. And I don't have any regrets in the career that I've had. I really like, I did start in operation. Well, I started in operations. I moved into supply chain. Then I was back in operations, and now account management. So I also think seeing the business from different angles is really helpful. It provides a sense of empathy. It allows you to roll up your sleeves and get involved in a project that might be adjacent to what you're currently doing because you have experience in something else. I don't think every move has to be up. I think sideways moves are really, really valuable.
Interesting. Tell me about that, because I think that might be a departure. I think presently, I don't think that I think a lot of people don't see that, right? And I'd like to unpack that a little bit more. We hear millennials are job hoppers and always looking towards the next opportunity and things. And but you're talking about sideways moves. Tell me a little bit more about sideways moves and how that's empowered you and enabled you.
Well, I think first of all, it keeps things interesting. So you're learning something new. You're engaged in a new kind of way, which gives, personally, that would give me additional job satisfaction. If there's not an ability to do something more at a higher level, let me do something more where I'm learning something else, where I'm contributing in a new way, where I'm challenging myself. I think that there's a lot of benefit to that. And then I think, that's,
well, and I think you talk about perspective too, right? I mean, you talked about operations and supply chain and like kind of working around, the problem in the business and looking at it from different angles. I mean, I remember when I moved kind of what seemed to be laterally, but I knew I was getting out of a really bad, toxic part of the organization into an organization with a lot more headroom, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different culture, even within the same organization, it transformed my whole career. So,
Well, and I think there can be an inherent rub between operations and account management, right? I'll promise the client this, and then you have to deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in operations before, and I've been in supply chain before, who's the final face of to our customer. So I don't want to promise something that they can't deliver. I want to be fair to them. I understand the bigger strategic needs of the organization. So I want to make money, but it's not just the revenue line that counts, it's the profit line that counts. So let's do this in a smart way. So I think, yeah, all of that kind of comes together to a true understanding of the whole business.
Yeah, I love that, because so oftentimes we have to decide who's right. Is it operations or sales? And I think until you've worked in both of those disciplines, it's hard to really kind of to really call it, and so I think it also lends you a lot of credibility. You said something before too, Meredith, about you always showed up, and that's one thing that I've just observed about you. If I can just gush a little bit about Meredith right now, but no, you always do. You always show up. You're always you're always just so prepared. I mean, you talked about preparedness earlier. Always so prepared. Always so professional. Just on top of things. I mean, that's just the impression. I know we're not always like that, right? But you always impressed me with that from the first time we really got to know each other and work together, which was, remember that?
Way back when I qualified to be in the YP40. Were you
Yeah.
going to make me say it so you didn't have to call me old?
No, not at all. I mean, we were both in the YP40 thing. That was my first time around. Ryan Wittroba, you reminded me of this. Ryan Wittroba, whom I love, was our chair.
Yeah.
You know, that year, and I don't know. Gosh, it was probably 4 years ago or something. 5 years. I don't know. Probably wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
We don't got to do math. We're not checking driver's license. We don't
Yeah,
do math. But no, it was great, and we worked on a really fun committee. And actually, quick plug for that next Thursday, a week from today, we're going to be doing the YP40 birthday party. YP40 turns 10 years old this year, and we have all of the prior chairs all on Love and Relo, and we're going to take a look back. And we're going to kind of like look at the way that the organization has grown and everything.
I love that. Some of my favorite people, Michelle and Julius and Ryan and Heidi, you, yeah, right? Really fun. That's a great group.
It really was a great group. Let me ask you, just along those lines, though. I mean, about getting involved and about associations, and I mean, what made you join the YP40 committee and actually get involved and volunteer your time like that?
You know what? I'm not even really sure what triggered it at that time, because we were making fun earlier, but really I was in my late 30s when I was in that group.
Hey, it's got a 3. It's got a 3 handle on it. Okay, that's all it matters.
I followed the rules. It's not like I didn't qualify. It just, I felt like an old person babysitting the rest of you young chaps.
You were the babysitter that was 3 years older than the rest of us, watching over, making sure we didn't get in trouble.
Right. But it was just fun. Again, it's just a new way to see a different perspective. I think I wanted to learn from what was going on, and what I think the people in our industry also represent who our customers are and who tomorrow's customer is going to be. So I think it gives you that perspective as well. It was just interesting, I think, to see the WERC from a different angle. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it was fun being a part of, also being able to actually get things done and kind of create, and be creative. I think so oftentimes we come to Worldwide ERC or other conferences as a consumer, and we're like, oh, I really wish they didn't have turkey sandwiches. I mean, can't they get a little more creative? I wish they had a better speaker, but it was cool to actually be able to kind of create the session topic or create some of the vision, if even only for a year, So we got some people checking in over here. Hey, if you're watching right now, go ahead and hit that heart, leave some love for Meredith, hit that like button as well, or the applause or celebration. I think technically it's called the celebration. I'm still learning about Soch. I think it's celebration.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's celebration. It is so. Janet Turner checking in. Hey, super producer Janet checking in. What's up, Janet? Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is good for you. Simon John's Love and Relo Conference.
Oh, look at you.
There's been rumors. I can neither confirm nor deny, but I specialize in reckless speculation. There could be murmurings of a post-pandemic Love and Relo conference.
There could be T-shirts.
There's definitely gonna be T-shirts. If a conference is just defined by their T-shirts, I'd have the best conference in town. Okay, content, it's sketchy. I don't know. It's day to day, but T-shirts definitely. Shoe handshakes like Kid and Play. I don't know if you remember Kid and Play.
Oh yeah.
Henry saving for the airfare. Everybody's booking their tickets. That's great. There's an early bird. Joe, he was also wasn't he a Dwellworks guy?
He was. Yeah.
Another great guy, Joe Martin. Let's go. Hey, if you're not a great guy and you work for Dwellworks, go ahead and leave it in the comments. We're trying to looking for the exception to prove the rule here. Let's see here. Amazing. This is fun. Henri says, very interesting conversation. I've been through several mergers in various companies, living it from the employee perspective. It's refreshing hearing the insider perspective. This is interesting, right? So we talk about change. I have a change management theory, okay? Because I've been and this actually came up when I was working at Pods when they were purchased by R Capital, a venture capital company out of Bahrain. The first time they were purchased twice when I was there. And I was a supervisor in the call center, had a little team of people. And we'd have to go out to the call center and basically tell people, okay, nothing's changing. It's all good. This is for the best, whatever, right? People are freaking out, whatever. But it's our job to keep everybody chill, right? And but I call it like it's like my jet ski theory, right? Change management is like riding a jet ski. Have you ever ridden a jet ski?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever driven a jet ski?
Yes.
You ever ridden on the back of a jet ski?
Probably.
It's a completely different experience. If you've ridden on the back, you know you've ridden on the back, okay? Because it's completely different. Same jet ski, okay? Same body of water, same jet ski, but completely different experience. If you're driving the change, you're like, hey, this is fun. All right, we're doing this. All right. If you're riding on the back, you're holding on for dear life, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Please slow down. Please don't make any sharp turns. I'm gonna fall off this thing and I might die. So I think as leaders, it's important for us to understand that we're having a good time. We're chilling. We're doing all right. We know where we're going. The people behind us are like, I don't know about this stuff. Put the brakes on, And so I think it's important for us to always have empathy, with going through change. And I think, Meredith, I think you probably have this in spades, honestly. So any thoughts on change management and how you navigate that?
I love that metaphor. And being a Michigander, it works for a snowmobile too, because there's a lot of trees on those routes. So on those trails, I should say. But I love that metaphor. I think that's exactly right. That you want people to buy in, that you want them to be a part of the change, then they have to understand what you're trying to drive. I actually think Dwellworks has been really good about that we don't deny there's going to be change. We tell you what it's going to be. We tell you how you can be a part of it. We tell you what parts are going to be easier. We tell you what parts are going to be more difficult. I think, a lot of the companies that we bought are smaller DSPs. And so people are wearing a lot of hats, and there's freedom in releasing some of those hats, that you can really specialize in the things that you're really good at, the things that you really enjoy doing, and rely on some of our shared services. Like, oh, you mean I don't have to be human resources and marketing and sales? I can just focus on sales. Like,
that's nice.
There's a release of power that sometimes is a little crippling for people, but there's also a freedom to that. And then when you know that you get to rely on the power that Dwellworks has, I think that feels really good. So, but you have to be honest about that. There's no, you're not doing yourself any favors. I
like that though, because you're right. Because I think we wear so many hats. The smaller your organization is, the more hats you wear. Yeah. And sometimes it's really nice and freeing to go to a large organization that can really support you. We've got some really great questions here. Let's see here. Victoria, when a company like Dwellworks begins to add new services companies, will you be able to bring everyone into Dwellworks culture or let each division stand on their own? I also worked with Oakwood, great people.
Yeah.
I don't know. You answer that question. It's not really a fair question, but whatever.
I think the really short answer is I think the Dwellworks culture does resonate throughout, and we're working through that right now, that we do want the Oakwood side of the company, the corporate housing side, the Dwellworks Living Now side of the business to be a part of the greater Dwellworks. So on the other hand, they have different requirements, different expectations, different tasks they need to get done, different clients they need to work with, and we want to give them the freedom to get all of that done as well. But I think culture is much deeper than that. It's the kind of people we have, and like we talked about earlier, the values that they have, and that can't be compromised.
For sure. Joe is making my backyard available for a maybe just like a little get together, a little Love and Relo get together.
Perfect.
So are you a golfer, Meredith?
I am. Not, yeah.
I'm terrible, but I do live on a golf course.
I didn't say I was good, but I did get out a few times. It was one of the only things I felt like we could do this summer. So we did get out a few times. Which was
Joe is a shark, so watch out there. He's pretty good. Rory's doing a shameless plug here. Many Moves would love to develop a relationship and move all your corporate housing personnel. Rory, get in line, okay, buddy. No, but Meredith, that brings up a great question. What about moving? You guys ever think you want to get into the moving business?
No.
Me either. Can I get out of this business? Can I go rent apartments? Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
That's my whole answer.
Yeah, that's adequate. Jag Jampel, is Dwellworks used solely by RMCs?
No, good question. It was definitely a big part of our clientele. We don't want to compete with the RMCs because we really appreciate the value they bring and the way that they aggregate clients for us. But we do have direct relationships as well.
Awesome. Let's see here. We got some great questions here. Oh gosh, let's see here. All right. Yeah, inevitably that, that happens, right? I mean, we're over here in these shared spaces. Let's see. And at Walters, what does seeking what the employee actually needs look like in real time, and how has that changed what you provide?
So I think, again, on the destination services side, it's about this product that we have that allows the destination services consultant the empowerment to have that conversation with the employee. We're not going to check a list of things off on a scope. We're not going to time ourselves on how many hours we're spending. We're going to really look at the outcomes that the employee is helping to drive, what's most important to them. So I think that changes, it's our mindset more than anything. I mean, our consultants were already doing that to some degree. That's what they really pride themselves on, is getting into the personal, making people really feel welcome in their new community, talking about the soccer team or the clubhouse or the, equestrian stables or the daycare for their baby, or all of those things that are really, really meaningful to somebody moving that we sometimes overlook when we're looking at a task list. So our consultants are really excited about that, empowering them to make that a critical focus of what they do. And again, the other thing that's going to be really interesting is that we do like to collect data. So as we ask those questions and we find out what they actually choose, what we actually help them with, we are tracking that, not in a way to actually report back to our clients and check boxes, but in a way so we can understand what is most valued, what should we continue training our consultants to be subject matter experts on, to have knowledge at their fingertips so that they can leverage that and share that quickly, efficiently, in a helpful way.
Love it. Denise Mast asks, how are you doing in that leadership role, managing your team remotely all over the globe?
I have no idea. Ask
A voice of the internal customer survey will be forthcoming.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I have about 20 people in about 5 countries, I think, at this point. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, it keeps me busy. I was doing a presentation last night at 10 o'clock to Hong Kong and China, which was really fun. Yeah, I mean, I think I have a great team. So they're all engaged and self-motivated and doing what they're doing, and they look to me when they need me, and we meet together. A lot of, I think, the best that I can bring my team is actually to bring them together to share best practices. It's been really fun to learn from what happened in China and then happened in Europe and then happened in the Americas in terms of the COVID, domino effect, if you will.
Sure.
So we're learning from each other as that continues on.
A lot of comments about your comments on upper mobility and sideways moves. Gabby, sideways moves are so critical. It's all about learning and growing in different zones. Great points. People are asking about the glass ceiling, and Molly says, Mary, I think it's the first step is to find an organization that doesn't have that glass ceiling.
I love that comment. And Molly and I worked together for 25 years. And the first company that we worked with at RAI, that small destination services company in Detroit, was owned by 2 women. So they certainly didn't create a glass ceiling for any of their team members. So
that's awesome.
It was
That's
a great
great
job for me. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Let's see here. We're getting some suggestions here.
I saw that YP50, Jared. You watch out.
Oh gosh, Jared, that's great. Don't get blocked, Jared. Kelly's pumping the conference. Rory getting the venue saying, okay, there we go. Henri says he was on the back of the jet ski. Sometimes it says sometimes there was no water at all. People are tripping out here. This is great. Brenda says, yes, we need more women on the golf course. Watch out for Brenda. If Brenda is in your scramble, okay, you need to get on her team, step one, okay, and then you need to step back and just watch, okay, because she can hit the cover off the ball. She wins every long drive at every function. So get on Brenda's team. That's my tip of the day right there. And don't play Joe Martin for money. No, those are my 2 tips for success on the golf course.
And that tip doesn't just apply to golf.
Oh, really? Okay. Nice. He's a sleeper. All right. So Meredith, you and I had the privilege of speaking at Worldwide ERC in Boston the last time things were normal, on an Ignite session. And I was so impressed with your talk. You did a 5-minute talk. I don't know if you don't know what Ignite sessions are. Ben Heller curated it, put it all together. I had the honor of being on it. Meredith was on it. We had some really, really sharp professionals on it. And Meredith did a talk. And I know we have 5 minutes left, Meredith. So if you don't mind, can you just take it from the top and just give us the I'm totally kidding. But no, but I loved it. I thought the presentation was fantastic. But what I loved about it was so real, so authentic, so authentically you know, and I gleaned from that sports mean a lot to you, that your kids mean a lot to you. And what I loved about it was that you take so many lessons, life lessons, business lessons from your kids and learning from that. And I love that. And I do the same. What are some of the things maybe that you've learned from your kids and being so involved in their life and their soccer careers? I know you were a soccer star as well, but I mean, have you learned, like, you know, anything from that and that you might want to share?
Yeah, the pitch, the Ignite session was kind of a play on, you know, what you learn, lessons from the field. That's all I could give you was the title, if I had to recite the whole thing. But I think it's more about kind of reflecting. It's interesting the kind of advice I give them, and then I have to kind of pause and say, like, wait a second, when you were 14, you wouldn't have been able to do that. Or when you were 8, you would have been crying too.
Yep.
Or it's like, just take a breath. They don't have to be who you are now. You took 40 some years to get there.
You're right.
So I think just that patience with them, and really that patience with myself. I think it's maybe about this whole concept of, in a Facebook world, people are constantly posting about how wonderful their children are. My Mother's Day post was like, sorry that this is a day late, but I didn't feel like posting yesterday because they were all being pains in my neck, you know?
Yeah.
That's reality. And I think we all need to share that with each other a little bit. Again, I don't like the phrase misery loves company, because that then I think of this, like, all these people crying with each other and whining about things. And if you're going to whine, you better be ready to do something about it. But I do think empathy and compassion, and I think it would be helpful if we weren't a Facebook culture, that we actually portrayed our true selves, that we empathized with each other, that we understand that we're all doing the best we can in these crazy circumstances right now. So that, yes, this morning I had, knew that I was doing this afternoon. So of course, today was the day that my speaker and my microphone went out, and I was on, you know, for an hour with my help desk that got me all sorted out. And in the middle of doing that, my 8-year-old ran up to me with tears in her eyes because she couldn't get from one link to the next link on her homeschool kind of thing. And, you know, I have 2 other children, one in middle school and one in high school, who are more, you know, able to manage their own school day, even from a remote location. They're very self-sufficient.
Yeah.
But that does mean, by the way, that I have 13 teachers and 3 different schools that I'm getting emails from on a daily basis at this point. So it's a lot. And sometimes it's just being able to say, it's a lot, it's too much, I'm doing it anyway. Fake it till you make it, keep smiling. Just, you know, we're all in this together. And I feel like that's the thing that feels so real about all of this, is people they've gotten to a place where it's like they're going to crash and burn. They have to release. And we just all kind of lean on each other. And to me, that's the best thing we can take from this right now.
I love your honesty in that, and your candor and your authenticity there, because you're so right. I mean, my wife said it to me the other time, you know, why, you know, I look on Facebook and all these people are so happy, and like, how come, you know, we don't have XYZ, or we're not doing this, or we're not on a family vacation on Lake Michigan with a beautiful backdrop, and like, and it's like, honey, you know how long it took them to get that shot? Like, and how many hair was being pulled out and tears, and like, you know, threats were being made behind the scenes to get that shot. You know, it's like, you know, it's so true. And what you say about, you know, about empathy, I think is fantastic. And it applies at home, and it applies, you know, with us, and especially with our transferees, right? It's like, I think we're so hard on our kids. We're so hard on each other, you know, to be perfect, and we hold them to our kids and frankly our team members. Sometimes we hold them to a standard that's not realistic, nor a standard that we would want to be held to. Frankly, you know, we judge them through 40-year-old eyes sometimes, and it's like sometimes we just got to be a kid, and just like sometimes we just got to be regular people and adults, you know. And I just love the fact that you were willing to go there with us. We got some really cool comments coming in here, and we're running short on time, and I know we got things we got to do, right? Because we got to go save the world, you know, both you and I both. Jana Masik, I love this conversation. Jana, what's up? I owe you that thing. Appreciate you commenting. Henry, we're all in this together. So true. And Henry's in France, and we're still in the same boat. I mean, that's crazy.
It's a big boat.
It's a big boat. True that. Reality check, authenticity. No one and no thing is perfect. We're all just human. For sure. I don't have a Facebook account. That's great. That's awesome. Meredith, this has been so much fun. I wanted to ask you before we depart here, I'd like to hear a final thought or final word. Is there something you'd like to leave us with, or something that's on your mind?
Why is that the toughest question? Wow. I feel like there's so much to say.
It doesn't have to be great, you know. I mean, it could just be whatever.
Then you don't know me at all.
This is when you give yourself no empathy, right?
Right. Empathy for others, not for myself. Yeah. I mean, no, really. I guess I would just continue on that same track that we all need a little self-forgiveness in this situation. It is a difficult situation in business, in life. I think there's a lot. I think I probably represent a lot of other parents there who are trying to do it all right now in a way that I think working parents in general have a tough job, but I think this is just beyond what I could have ever imagined. And let's just make it till tomorrow, guys. I'm here with you.
Day at a time. Awesome. I love it. This has been great. Everybody that checked in, we had a ton of comments, a ton of people on LinkedIn, a lot of people on Facebook as well. I mean, Meredith, you really brought a ton of people, and I appreciate it so much. Thanks for all the comments and all the likes, everybody. If you haven't done so already, throw Meredith a little love down there on the button or on the like there. Meredith, thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate it.
It was really a lot of fun, Ben, and a big honor. And don't forget to show up tomorrow and buy your t-shirts.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, we're doing a Move for Hunger Action Month telethon tomorrow at 4:00, as Meredith reminded me so wonderfully. We got a whole bunch of leaders from the global mobility industry who are going to be answering the phones live. It's going to be like Jerry Lewis style telethon. I'm going to be juggling and bouncing a ball on my nose or something. I have no idea. We're selling t-shirts. We're selling all sorts of things, all to raise money for Move for Hunger. Our goal has increased from $5,000 to $10,000. We've got a match, a 1-for-1 match right now from Kroger stores as well right now. And we're also looking for more sponsors and more people willing to match your donation. So if you're a company out there or an individual and you want to be part of a change and making a difference in your community through Move for Hunger, go ahead, reach out to me. Love to have you as a sponsor. Love to have you on tomorrow. Same place, same time. Love and Reload, 4:00 Friday. Meredith, thank you again so much. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow.